The silent preparation. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Titan Base Alpha, watching as another stealth shipyard shimmered into existence from behind its quantum camouflage field. The massive structure, stretching 20 kilometers across Saturn's largest moon, represented humanity's greatest secret and perhaps its only hope for survival. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. The holographic display before her showed dozens of similar facilities scattered throughout the solar system, each one carefully hidden from prying eyes above. "Production ahead of schedule, Admiral," reported Commander Jackson, his weathered face reflecting the pale light of distant Saturn. "The Artemis-class battleships are at 89% completion, and the Helios defense grid is fully operational. The only question remaining is, will it be enough?" Sarah's lips tightened into a thin line. 15 years had passed since the first quantum telescopes detected the energy signatures of massive fleet movements in nearby star systems. 10 years since the discovery of artificial structures deliberately hidden from conventional observation methods. 5 years since their deep space probes confirmed humanity's worst fears. They were not alone, and their neighbors were anything but peaceful. The Meridian Collective, as Earth's intelligence services had designated them, had been systematically absorbing or eliminating civilizations across this arm of the galaxy. Their method was always the same: arrive with overwhelming force, offer terms of peaceful integration, then strip the target civilization of its resources and autonomy. Those who refused simply disappeared. But humanity had one advantage. They had seen them coming. "Show me the latest deep space readings," Sarah ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing a massive fleet approaching from the direction of Proxima Centauri. "Right on schedule. They think they'll find a primitive civilization just beginning to reach for the stars," Commander Jackson observed, his voice tinged with grim satisfaction. "Instead, they'll find something very different." Sarah nodded, remembering the classified briefings that had set all of this in motion. When the first signs of the collective were detected, Earth's major powers had made an unprecedented decision. Rather than announce their discovery and risk panic, they had maintained the illusion of business as usual: petty political squabbles, limited space exploration, and seemingly primitive technology. Meanwhile, beneath the surface of every major planetary body in the solar system, humanity had been preparing. Quantum computing, dark matter manipulation, gravity wave weapons, technologies that would have revolutionized human society had instead been developed in absolute secrecy, reserved for the day they would be needed most. "Send the alert to all commands," Sarah ordered, her voice carrying the authority of countless drills and preparations. "Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. Maintain emissions control and quantum camouflage until the collective crosses the Kuiper Belt. Let them think they're approaching an easy target." Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities hummed with activity. Crews who had trained for years in simulators took their stations aboard ships that officially didn't exist. Weapon systems that defied conventional physics were brought to full power, their existence hidden behind a carefully maintained facade of technological limitation. "We've learned from history," Sarah murmured, more to herself than to her subordinates. "Pearl Harbor taught us the cost of being caught unprepared. We won't make that mistake again." The holographic display showed the collective fleet's approach vector. In approximately 3 months, they would reach the edge of the solar system. They would arrive expecting to find a civilization barely capable of interplanetary travel, ripe for conquest or absorption. Instead, they would find humanity's welcome, carefully prepared, meticulously planned, and absolutely lethal. "Send the final authorization codes to all fleet commanders," Sarah ordered. "The moment the collective crosses our outer marker, we show them exactly what humanity is capable of. And may whatever gods they believe in have mercy on their souls, because we won't." As she watched the preparations continue around her, Sarah couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had done what it did best: adapt, prepare, and overcome. The Meridian Collective was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the human spirit. The silent preparation was almost complete. Soon, very soon, the facade would drop, and the galaxy would learn why humanity had survived every challenge it had ever faced. The waiting game had begun. First Contact's deception. The Meridian Collective's first transmission arrived precisely as Earth's analysts had predicted. Their massive ships emerged from hyperspace just beyond Neptune's orbit, a breathtaking display of power meant to awe and intimidate. The message they broadcast was diplomatic in tone, but carried unmistakable undertones of superiority. People of Earth, the transmission began, translated in real time by AI systems that had been preparing for this moment for years. We bring greetings from the Meridian Collective, a peaceful alliance of advanced civilizations. We have watched your development with great interest and wish to welcome you into our family of worlds. In the United Earth Council's emergency chamber in Geneva, President Marcus Santos exchanged knowing glances with his military advisors. They had rehearsed this moment countless times. Now it was time to put their plan into action. Display our prepared response, Santos ordered, his voice steady. On screens across the chamber, the carefully crafted message appeared, a masterpiece of apparent naivety and calculated vulnerability. We are honored by your arrival, the response began, transmitted in deliberately primitive encoding. Our people are both excited and uncertain about this historic moment. We request time to prepare our world for such a momentous diplomatic exchange. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, Admiral Chen watched the exchange from her new command center. The primary fleet had been relocated from Saturn weeks ago, hidden beneath the red planet's surface in massive underground hangars. Every ship was powered down to minimal levels, their quantum signatures masked by technology that, officially, humanity wouldn't develop for another century. They're following the exact pattern, her tactical officer reported. Compare this to the Proxima Centauri intercepts from 3 years ago. Same diplomatic language, same positioning of their fleet. The collective's response came quickly, exactly as anticipated. Of course, dear friends, we understand this is a monumental occasion for your species. We will maintain our position beyond your outer planets while you prepare. However, we must insist on establishing a preliminary diplomatic presence on your moon to facilitate communications. This was it, the first real test of humanity's deception. The moon housed some of their most advanced weapons platforms, hidden beneath the regolith in bunkers that had taken a decade to construct in absolute secrecy. President Santos delivered his lines perfectly, playing the role of an overwhelmed leader facing first contact. We would be honored to host your representatives on our moon. However, we must ask for a few days to prepare appropriate facilities. Our lunar infrastructure is limited. On Mars, Admiral Chen watched as the collective's response came exactly as their intelligence had predicted. Of course, we will send a small diplomatic vessel in 3 of your Earth days. We look forward to beginning our peaceful exchange. The moment the transmission ended, Chen's command center erupted into controlled activity. They bought it, her XO confirmed. Their long-range scans show exactly what we want them to see. A handful of primitive lunar bases, no different from what's publicly known. Chen nodded grimly. Begin Phase 2. I want every hidden system in the Sol system ready for instant activation. The moment they make their move, we make ours. Over the next 3 days, humanity performed an elaborate dance of apparent preparation. Small, outdated shuttles made visible trips to the moon, constructing what appeared to be a hasty reception facility. Public news channels buzzed with excitement and speculation about first contact. Social media exploded with theories and discussions, all carefully seeded by AI systems to maintain the illusion of a civilization caught off guard. Behind this facade, humanity's real preparations accelerated. Quantum-linked communication systems kept Earth's hidden forces in perfect synchronization. Advanced sensor arrays tracked every movement of the collective's fleet, analyzing their positions and capabilities in microscopic detail. On the 3rd day, exactly as scheduled, A single collective vessel detached from their main fleet and began its approach to the moon. It was massive by human standards, or at least by the standards humanity pretended to have. Their vessel is following the expected course, Chen's tactical officer reported. Scanning arrays confirm it's packed with the same sensor systems they used at Proxima Centauri. They're looking for any sign of advanced technology. Chen allowed herself a small smile, and finding exactly nothing. Maintain emissions control. Let them land and begin their diplomatic mission. The moment they think they've confirmed our technological level, they'll signal their fleet to begin their real approach. The collective's diplomatic vessel landed on the moon with perfect precision, its massive form dwarfing the hastily constructed human facilities. As the first alien representatives emerged to be greeted by a carefully selected human diplomatic team, Chen couldn't help but admire the perfection of their deception. "Now we wait," she said quietly. "Let them think they've found another easy conquest. Let them begin their calculations and their planning. And when they finally make their move." She left the thought unfinished, but everyone in the command center knew what would follow. The greatest trap in human military history was set. Now it was just a matter of waiting for the Meridian Collective to spring it. Breaking point. 2 weeks into the collective's diplomatic mission, the signal that humanity had been waiting for finally came. Deep in Mars Command, Admiral Chen's quantum computers detected a massive surge of encrypted transmissions from the lunar diplomatic compound to the collective's main fleet. "Intercept complete," her communications officer announced. "Running it through our quantum decryption matrix now." The AI systems that humanity had kept hidden processed the transmission in seconds, confirming their worst fears and their greatest hopes. The message was exactly what they had expected: a comprehensive analysis of Earth's supposed vulnerabilities, a detailed invasion plan, and a dismissive assessment of humanity's military capabilities. The collective's ambassadors had spent 2 weeks performing exactly the kind of surveillance they'd used on countless other civilizations. "They've taken the bait completely," Chen's XO noted, reviewing the decrypted data. "Their analysis shows they believe our most advanced weapons are chemical rockets and crude mass drivers. They're not even bothering to look for quantum signatures or dark matter emissions." Chen nodded grimly. "Because their sensors show exactly what we want them to see: a primitive species barely able to reach their own moon." She paused, studying the tactical display. "Time to initiation. Their fleet is already moving, Admiral. Based on their encrypted orders, they'll be in position for their demonstration of power in approximately 6 hours." The collective's pattern was brutally efficient. After confirming a target's technological level, they would position their fleet for an overwhelming display of force, usually destroying an uninhabited planet or moon to demonstrate their superiority. Then would come their real demands, not the diplomatic overtures of first contact, but the true face of conquest. "Alert all commands," Chen ordered. "Initiate Operation Sleeping Giant Phase 3. Maintain emissions control until my direct order." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden forces silently prepared for battle. Quantum-linked communications carried Chen's orders instantaneously to every concealed base and vessel. In underground hangars, crews performed final checks on weapons that the collective didn't believe possible. On seemingly primitive orbital platforms, advanced targeting systems came online behind their carefully maintained disguises. The collective's fleet moved with absolute confidence, positioning itself in a standard combat formation perfected over centuries of conquest. Their ships, each one a masterpiece of engineering, arranged themselves in an attack pattern designed to overwhelm primitive planetary defenses. "They're targeting Ganymede," Tactical reported. "Standard demonstration protocol. They'll destroy Jupiter's largest moon to show their power." Chen allowed herself a cold smile. Perfect. Exactly as predicted. She opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen. In approximately 5 hours, the Meridian Collective will attempt to destroy Ganymede as a demonstration of their military superiority. They expect this to force our surrender." She paused, letting the moment build. Instead, it will mark the beginning of humanity's emergence as a galactic power. Stand ready. Victory is not just possible, it's inevitable. As the hours ticked by, the collective's fleet continued its confident advance. Their sensors showed nothing but scattered human satellites and a handful of primitive lunar bases. Their analysts reported no signs of significant military preparation. Their commanders prepared for another routine conquest. They never detected the quantum signatures of Earth's true fleet hidden beneath the surface of Mars. They didn't notice the dark matter weapon platforms concealed within every major asteroid. They had no idea that their every movement was being tracked by sensors far more advanced than their own. 4 hours into the wait, Chen received an expected transmission from the lunar diplomatic compound. The collective's ambassadors were requesting an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership to discuss the future of human collective relations. President Santos, playing his role perfectly, responded with carefully crafted confusion and concern. The political theater continued exactly as planned, keeping the collective's attention focused on their diplomatic charade, while humanity's real forces remained hidden and ready. 1 hour to optimal firing position, Tactical reported. The collective's fleet had almost reached their chosen position for destroying Ganymede. Soon, they would launch their attack, expecting it to demonstrate their overwhelming technological superiority. Chen stood at her command station, watching the tactical displays with intense focus. Everything humanity had prepared for, every secret they had kept, every deception they had maintained, had led to this moment. Send final authentication codes to all commands, she ordered. The moment they fire on Ganymede, Operation Sleeping Giant goes hot. Let's show the collective exactly what humanity is capable of when pushed too far. The tension in Mars Command was electric as the minutes ticked down. Humanity had spent 15 years preparing for this moment. Now they would find out if their preparations had been enough. Counterstrike. The Meridian Collective's primary weapon capacitors reached full charge as their fleet positioned itself around Ganymede. Their sensors showed nothing but empty space and primitive human satellites, exactly what humanity wanted them to see. Admiral Chen watched the countdown on her tactical display reach 0. All commands, prepare to execute on my mark. The moment their weapons fire, we reveal everything. The collective's massive dreadnought, positioned at the center of their formation, powered up its main gun. The energy readings were enormous, enough to shatter Ganymede into fragments. Just as their weapon reached critical mass, Chen gave the order that humanity had waited 15 years to hear. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. All units, execute. Across the solar system, quantum camouflage fields dropped simultaneously. The surface of Mars seemed to ripple as massive hangar doors opened, revealing humanity's true fleet. Dark matter weapon platforms emerged from their hiding places in the asteroid belt. On Earth's moon, what had appeared to be simple habitat domes transformed into advanced defense installations. The collective's sensors suddenly exploded with readings they hadn't believed possible. Before they could react, humanity struck. First wave, engage, Chen commanded. From beneath Mars's surface, hundreds of Artemis-class battleships rose on gravity drives, their quantum engines bringing them to full power. They were sleek, deadly, and far beyond anything the collective had expected to face. The first shots of the battle came from Earth's hidden defense grid. Gravity wave projectors, concealed beneath the lunar surface, fired in perfect synchronization. The concentrated gravitational distortions hit the collective's fleet like hammers, disrupting their carefully maintained formation and causing their targeting systems to fail catastrophically. Their shields are adapting, Tactical reported. Switching to Phase 2 weapons. Chen nodded. Launch dark matter torpedoes. Let's show them what human ingenuity really looks like. From hidden platforms throughout the asteroid belt, humanity's most devastating weapons launched. Dark matter torpedoes, developed in absolute secrecy, streaked toward the collective fleet. The aliens' advanced shields, designed to stop any known form of attack, proved useless against weapons that operated on principles they hadn't even discovered. The collective's response was immediate but disorganized. Their commanders, trained to expect easy victories over primitive civilizations, found themselves facing an enemy that had prepared specifically to counter their every advantage. "They're trying to regroup," Chen's XO reported. "Their command and control systems are switching to emergency protocols." "Not fast enough," Chen replied. "All ships, execute attack pattern Thermopylae. Show them what happens when you corner humanity." The Artemis fleet moved with perfect coordination, their crews executing maneuvers they had practiced for years in secret. Quantum-linked fire control systems allowed them to strike from multiple vectors simultaneously, overwhelming the collective's defensive algorithms. In the lunar diplomatic compound, the collective's ambassadors suddenly found themselves surrounded by heavily armed human security forces who had been disguised as maintenance workers and support staff. Their attempts to transmit emergency signals were blocked by quantum interference fields that had been built into the compound's very walls. "Sir," communications reported, "we're picking up massive energy spikes from the collective flagship. They're preparing to jump to FTL." Chen's expression hardened. "Not this time." "Activate the quantum anchor." Throughout the solar system, hidden transmitters powered up, creating an interlocking field of quantum disruption. The collective's advanced drive systems, trying to create a hyperspace window, instead found themselves trapped in normal space. "Target their command and control nodes," Chen ordered. "Don't let them coordinate a counterattack." Human ships struck with surgical precision, using weapons and tactics that the collective had never encountered before. Dark matter beams cut through their supposedly impenetrable shields. Gravity wave projectors disrupted their targeting systems. Quantum torpedoes bypassed their armor entirely, striking directly at critical systems. The battle that the collective had expected to be a simple demonstration of power had turned into their worst nightmare. Every advantage they had relied on for centuries of conquest had been analyzed, countered, and turned against them. "Enemy fleet is at 60% strength and falling," Tactical reported. "Their formation is breaking up. Individual ships are trying to retreat, but the quantum anchor is holding." Chen opened a channel to all forces. "Press the advantage. Don't let them regroup. Show them the price of threatening Earth." The Artemis fleet moved in for the kill, their coordinated attacks splitting the collective formation into isolated pockets that could be eliminated one by one. Ships that had brought terror to countless civilizations found themselves hunted by an enemy that had spent years preparing for this exact moment. The battle wasn't just a defeat for the collective. It was a revelation. Humanity had not only survived their first contact with a hostile alien civilization, they had completely reversed the expected outcome. The hunters had become the hunted, and the galaxy was about to learn a crucial lesson about underestimating human determination. New Dawn. 3 months after the Battle of Seoul, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of Titan Base Alpha once again. This time, she watched as captured collective vessels were systematically studied by human engineers, their technology being integrated with humanity's own innovations. Final casualty reports from the battle. "Admiral," Commander Jackson reported, handing her a quantum tablet. The numbers were better than their most optimistic projections. Humanity's careful preparation had paid off and saved lives. "And the collective's response to our terms?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. The quantum communications array had been receiving diplomatic traffic nonstop since the battle's end. "They've accepted everything," Jackson confirmed. "The entire Collective Council signed the treaty an hour ago. They're withdrawing from all occupied territories and acknowledging humanity's right to defend any civilization within 50 light-years of Sol." Chen nodded, remembering the faces of the collective's leaders when they realized just how completely they had been outmaneuvered. The species that had terrorized this sector of the galaxy for centuries had finally met their match, not in terms of raw power, but in humanity's capacity for strategic thinking and long-term planning. "President Santos is preparing to address the United Earth Council," Jackson continued. "They're voting on the proposal to establish the Solar Defense Initiative as a permanent organization. The proposal would transform their hidden military buildup into something new, a force dedicated not just to defending Earth, but to protecting other civilizations from conquest and exploitation. Already, diplomatic channels were opening with worlds that had suffered under the Collective's rule. "Show me the Proxima Centauri feed," Chen ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing the human relief fleet arriving at humanity's nearest stellar neighbor. The civilization there had been on the verge of collapse under collective occupation. Now, human ships were bringing supplies, medical aid, and hope. "They're calling us the Guardians," Jackson mentioned, a hint of pride in his voice. "The species we've liberated. They're looking to humanity as protectors now." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Not exactly what we planned for when we started building this fleet, is it? We thought we'd just be defending Earth." "Humanity has always had a habit of exceeding expectations," Jackson replied. "The Collective thought they were dealing with primitives. Instead, they found out what happens when you push humans into a corner." The quantum display shifted again, showing feeds from across human space. Shipyards that had operated in secret for years were now working openly, producing vessels that would help maintain peace in this sector of the galaxy. Research facilities were sharing their advances with grateful allies, helping other civilizations rebuild and defend themselves. "The Collective's database has been decrypted," a young lieutenant reported, approaching with another update. "We've identified at least 30 other civilizations they were planning to target. We're dispatching warning buoys to all of them." Chen nodded approvingly. "Make sure they understand we're not replacing one empire with another. We're offering protection and alliance, not demanding submission." That was the key difference that the Collective had never understood. Humanity had developed its advanced technology and military might not out of a desire for conquest, but from a deep-rooted need to protect itself and others. The weapons they had created in secret would now serve as a shield for countless species. New diplomatic requests arriving hourly, Jackson added. "Everyone wants to know how we did it, how we managed to hide our true capabilities for so long." "Let them wonder," Chen replied. "It's good for the galaxy to remember that humanity is capable of surprising them. Keeps everyone honest." In the months that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation. The Collective's iron grip on dozens of star systems was replaced by a network of mutual defense treaties and trade agreements. Humanity's technology, developed in isolation and secret, proved to be unique in many ways, offering new solutions to old problems. Earth's cities now buzzed with diplomatic activity as representatives from countless civilizations came to learn, trade, and establish alliances. The facade of a primitive civilization had been replaced by the reality of humanity's true nature, innovative, determined, and ultimately committed to protecting not just themselves but others. "We've received the first graduates from the International Defense Academy," Jackson reported. "Officers from 12 different species, all trained to work together. The joint fleet exercises start next month." Chen watched as another shipment of quantum communicators was loaded for transport to a recently liberated world. The technology that had helped humanity coordinate its secret defense would now help build a network of allied civilizations, each supporting and protecting the others. "The galaxy's changing," she observed. The Collective thought they were the pinnacle of civilization, that their way was the only way forward. Instead, they became the catalyst for something new. As she looked out at the ships moving through space around Titan, Chen reflected on how far humanity had come. From a species preparing for the worst in secret, they had emerged as leaders in a new galactic order, not through conquest or intimidation, but through preparation, innovation, and an unwavering determination to protect both themselves and others. The new dawn had arrived, and with it, the promise of a better future for all species who sought peace among the stars.